from every single iteration of trying out a new business model, what the customers wanted. We learned every step of the way, and ultimately they were like, we want your product. Other people's products we can get elsewhere. Like, we want your product. Like, when are you going to launch? But I didn't just want to launch any product because there's so many in the market. For me, it's like, we have to fulfill a gap. That's why I created PurelyB. There was a gap in the market. Nobody was doing this. We created this. We're going to create a product. It has to be something nobody else is doing and something people need.
Hey everybody, this is Caitlin Bricker, editor at Startup CPG. We are back with another founder feature. Have you ever wondered what happens when ancient Malaysian rainforest remedies meet modern wellness? Well, today we're talking with Jesrina Arshad, founder and CEO of PurelyB. Jesrina is a founder who's using mushrooms in her products that you've probably never heard of, let alone experienced before. After her own health struggles led her to ancestral healing herbs, Jesrina turned centuries-old formulations into grown-up Pixie Sticks that have reached millions of users globally. Now she's looking to tap into the US market on a deeper level. We'll dive into how she's preserving lost wisdom, supporting marginalized farmers across Asia, and what it takes to bring ancient remedies to today's wellness market. This conversation will change how you think about mushrooms and wellness, I hope. Enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Startup CPG podcast. This is Caitlin, and today I'm here with Jesrina Arshad, founder of PurelyB. Jesrina, welcome to the show.
Hi, Caitlin. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
It has been a long time coming. Listeners, we have had to reschedule this. We're laughing now, but it was like pressure.
2 months? I don't know.
Yes. First, I had a concussion, and then my family was sick, and Jesrina, thankfully, was so gracious and understanding, and here we are finally having this conversation.
It all worked out. Yeah, this is actually the better timing, so yeah, everything happens for a reason.
Well, I'm very excited for everybody to learn about PurelyB. I am fascinated with your products. I feel like
Thank you.
Maybe I can't be the only one that feels this way, but sometimes I think mushrooms and products can be a little tiring because we see it everywhere. But your product, to me, was very refreshing because it had ingredients I had never heard of before.
Yeah.
So tell listeners, what is PurelyB?
Yes, sure. So at PurelyB, I'm from Malaysia. That's my home country. And Malaysia is the home of very rich wellness heritage and these ancient medicinal herbs from the Malaysian rainforest that date centuries. And what we've done is that we revive and preserve ancient natural medicine of our ancestors. So these medicinal herbs have been used for centuries for healing and prevention for many generations, but they have gotten lost amongst today's modern generation. So what we've done is that we work with traditional healers and herbalists from the villages in Malaysia who have that wisdom and that knowledge of these ancient remedies, and with modern medical scientists from around the world who had done research on tropical Malaysian herbs and how they're one of the most powerful in the world for healing. And we've teamed up together to create a range of products that will help optimize the health of today's modern generation, but the natural way. And what we've done is, as you know, we've made them into Pixie Sticks format. So the beauty of it is that, okay, we all know natural medicine from generations ago, very powerful, but very bitter, doesn't taste good, very difficult to consume. There's a whole process of how to consume it. But what we've done is make it for today's generation. So it's that sour candy, Pixie Sticks, it reminds you of your childhood. It's just in sachets. You pour it on your tongue, it melts in your mouth, and it doesn't even feel like you're taking a supplement, even though it's just pure herbs and fruits, nothing else. And it's literally our target mushroom product, 3 ingredients and nothing else. And our Pagaga product, which is another medicinal herb 2,000 years old, is 6 ingredients, herbs and fruits. So yeah, that's in a nutshell of what we do. And we really focus on rare botanicals from the rainforest that really have abundance of science proving how it helps with gut health, skin, lung health, allergies, but just haven't been accessible to today's modern generation or the global community. So it's really, it feels like a mission to revive and preserve ancient wisdom.
That Pixie Stick format is so fun. I was able to sample at a party, a startup CPG party, of course, back at Expo West. And when you gave it to me, I was like, really? I just shoot it back just like that. And our whole team, when we tried it, we were just amazed. First of all, it tastes really good. It definitely
Thank
brought me
you.
back to that nostalgic
Yeah.
childhood Pixie Stick experience without all the sugar. And you're sweetening
Yeah.
with dates, which was, and grape, I believe, in the.
Elderberry and red grapes for the tiger mushroom. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
So
you have that
delicious.
sour kick when you first put it in your mouth, right?
So delicious. And the pagaga, are you using?
Yes.
Yes.
Pagaga. So we have two pagagas. So this one here has green apples and dates. So that one, you actually mix it in just water. You can take it as a pixie stick, but it's going to taste more herbal because it's like matcha kind of tasting. But a lot of people love that. They say it's like a good cup of pagaga in the morning. Feels like that warmth and that comfort, but it's also a pick-me-up. So that is for people who love the more herbal, but there's a light sweetness of the green apples and dates, and that's for gut health and skin. But you just need water and that's it. So the beauty of it, you know, with a lot of green superfoods, you need to put it into a smoothie. You need to, it still has that strong spirulina taste or wheatgrass or whatever it might be. But with this, you don't need to. Just water is fine and it's super refreshing. But this one, which we're actually launching in the US in a few months, but it's been in Asia already for the past year, is lychee and passion fruit pixie stick with the pagaga and the turmeric. So again, like you just pour it in your mouth. So it has a slightly different taste notes to the tiger mushroom that you tried, which is like sour candy. But pagaga chaga is like lychee. Have you tried lychee? Like the
I have. To me, it almost has like a fruity, nutty taste, personally.
Yeah, kind of. Yes, yeah. There's a slight sourness from the passion fruit, but the lychee taste is more dominant, so it's less sour than the tagu mushroom. But both like melt in your mouth, these two. And the pagaga chaga, whilst it can help with gut health, is more focused on brain health, mental clarity, focus, stress, anxiety, and detoxification.
All sounds like things everybody could use
Yeah,
right now.
I know. Yeah, so I think for us is we're all taking a ton of supplements today, and we all know how, you know, after COVID, I think it just ramped everyone's sort of awareness out of how to ensure that you prevent diseases and prevent falling sick. But it's getting a bit much now, like all the pills and all the powders and everything. And for us, how can we minimize it so it doesn't feel like one of so many that you have to consume and make it more fun and easy? Like, you don't need water. You can pop in your bag and
I really love and appreciate that approach because no shade to anybody that loves their supplement stacks, but when I see those images online and people are sharing their supplement stacks, I'm like,
yeah.
what is your diet like? Like, why do you why do you need all of these supplements? Can't you get most of this from food? I am very proud to say that I take a vitamin D supplement. I took your tiger milk mushroom product when I was recovering from
Yay.
the second cancellation. And after fancy food too, and prior to fancy
Oh,
food
yes,
because
of
it was just
course.
I need a little
You're
boost.
exposed. You need a
Oh
you
yeah.
need a boost. Yeah. So I think what's important as well is I think for us, we didn't want to be just a supplement in terms of, yes, you feel good and that's it. We wanted it to be transforming your health in a life-changing way for people who have issues, who have health issues. So with tiger milk mushroom, it's a 400-year-old mushroom only found in Malaysia, which is why you haven't heard it and you don't see it in the US. We're the only ones in the US bringing this tiger milk mushroom extract. We're actually exclusive bringing it to the US. So with tiger milk mushroom, it has actually been proven. So the indigenous communities in Malaysia from over hundreds of years ago, they basically would consume this for lung health issues. So respiratory conditions and abnormal growth like cancer and whatnot and energy, but particularly bronchitis, cold cough flu, asthma, sinus, those sort of conditions. So the scientists that we work with in Malaysia had conducted 20 years of research on this. And it's amazing, fascinating, the stories that you see of people who have chronic asthma in and out of hospitals using their inhalers all their lives. And then when they started consuming tiger milk mushroom, just over a short period of time, like within a month, they don't need to use the inhalers anymore. They're not reliant on steroids. They're not in and out of hospitals. They can lead a normal life. And this is huge because it's food as medicine. It's completely natural. And it is from our heritage. So in Malaysia, it's known as our lost national treasure because a lot of people were not aware of it. And it took 20 years of scientific research for people to be like, okay, let me try this. And from me particularly, I have allergies to gluten, dairy, egg, wheat, shellfish. And if I accidentally eat it, I get all fluey, I get like rashes and whatnot. And so I take Zyrtec every now and then, and I hate that I take it because I know it's not good to take it continuously or whatnot. And tiger mushroom was a game changer for me, and that's when I knew we needed to bring it to market. So basically, when I started consuming it every day, when I ate like a sandwich because my cousin launched a restaurant and I was supporting him, and he had everything I couldn't eat. So it was egg, dairy, everything. I had red meat. I don't even eat red meat, like super rare. And I ate it and I was all prepared to get all the symptoms, but I didn't have Zyrtec on me. But I didn't get any of the symptoms. No rashes, no. And I was like dumbfounded. I was like, wait a minute. And then I remembered I was taking tiger mushroom every day for at least a week at that time. So that was the turning point for me for my allergy. And I haven't taken Zyrtec since. I just take this every day and I can eat these things. I actually don't react to shellfish anymore. Again, I'm not a chronic, I don't have chronic allergies. I don't get hospitalized. If I do eat these things, it's just rashes and fluey. I start sneezing. It's like mild allergy symptoms, but it has done wonders for me. And then we saw that with our community as well. They don't take Zyrtec anymore. This is their go-to. So it's things like that. Like, how do we move people away from pharmaceutical drugs and steroids and all of that that's been so reliant in their whole life, and food as medicine, something that is native to Malaysia. It's so rare, but it can be life transforming. So that is really important in our mission.
Totally. And I feel like a lot of people who do take pharmaceuticals, which no issue if you take pharmaceuticals, but I think that some people might not understand or recognize that a lot of pharmaceuticals are actually based in food or herbal medicines.
Yes.
And you're
Yes.
just basically going back to the basics by giving that whole
As
mushroom.
pure as it gets.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. People tend to get a lot of side effects. They react to the side effects of pharmaceutical drugs. So we try and minimize that by trying to go as natural as possible, as pure as possible without all these unnecessary additives.
I love that. And that's actually a good segue into one of my next questions for you, which is, do your products have any contraindications with pharmaceuticals that people might be taking?
No, none at all. Because it's completely natural. It's food. It's like consuming it it's a part of your daily life. It's just as you're consuming your lunch, your dinner, your breakfast, and you have any pharmaceutical drugs or whatnot. But what we do always say, especially if someone is on prescription after, let's say, surgery or a certain condition, or they're going through chemo, we always say consult your physician, consult your doctor. We say it is safe, but always consult, just to take extra caution because we don't know what that doctors might say. Yeah.
Highlight, underline, bold. Always consult with your physician.
Yes, always. But we know some people will always be like, yeah, my physician always only wants me to just take whatever they're giving me, but I'm just going to consume it anyway. And we're like, well, that's up to you because it is safe, but we want you to consult your physician. And yeah.
Great advice. I am also curious too. You did mention that they are rare medicines.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I think a lot of the conversation, at least here in the US, is on plant conservation and preserving these rare botanicals.
Yes.
So, how do you approach sustainability with rare herbs and medicinal plants?
I love that you asked that. So with tiger mushroom, this is extremely rare. You'll find one, if you're lucky, growing every 10 kilometers. So unlike other mushrooms, it doesn't grow in a school or a cluster. And that's if you're lucky, you'll find one. So it is so rare, we would never touch that in the wild. And it's not easy to harvest in natural farmland either. But we actually grow it in a lab through jasmine rice. And we work with the scientists. So it's actually the scientists. So in Malaysia, there's an educational institute and a research institute called University Malaya, which is one of the most renowned research institutes in Southeast Asia when it comes to tropical herbs. They've conducted 20 years of research on this. And the scientists were the ones who started growing it in the lab to properly see how can we bring this medicinal mushroom in a scalable way to the community. But they would not be able to commercialize. They're just the scientists doing the research, doing the testing, and trying to see how can we preserve it and make it accessible. And so that's when they came to us. And I was very lucky. My investor is on the board of directors of that research institute and told me that they had been conducting this research, which is a game changer for a lot of people's health. And he thinks that we would be the best partner to bring this to market. And so we got connected, was it 5 years ago or so? And it completely transformed my health. So we started working together on R&D and creating this. But they had already conducted 20 years of scientific research and growing this in the lab. So yeah, I mean, we have them to thank for it too. Yeah.
Wow. I'd love to know about any reactions that the scientists had when they finally got to taste your product. What did they say?
Yeah, they were mind blown because obviously they've tried the as raw as it gets, and I think important for me to mention is that they worked 5 years on patented technology to make this into a special extract called XLR, which just has the highest bioavailability. And this extract, obviously, it's going to be light tasting because it's an extract form. You're not going to taste much of the mushroom, but it's actually 5 times more powerful than when it's in its raw form. So that patented extract is what we use. And with them, and we're the first ones in the world to actually use it, which is probably why it's so effective for people with allergies and asthma and whatnot, because it's like amplified. The potency and efficacy is on another level, but the taste also is lessened. So that's why the elderberry and the red grapes, the taste notes are very prominent because the mushroom is in this special extract form. So I think all of that combined, I mean, they didn't expect it to taste like this, but they knew that the mushroom taste wouldn't be that prominent in this extract. But still, they were mind blown when they consumed it, and they didn't know that we could do a Pixie Stick format until we came in and we said, "This is what we want to explore," and we started working on it together. And they're like, "Wow, okay."
I had the same reaction. Not a scientist, haven't worked in a mushroom lab, but I was mind blown. The elderberry and grape in that stick, it makes my mouth water in a very good way when I take it.
Yeah.
I love sour, and it really just like satisfies a craving, and you get the benefit of it actually doing something good for you too.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's easy for kids because kids hate taking supplements, but for
Yes.
them, they get like addicted to this. You have parents that are saying they're stealing my whole stash because so in Malaysia, we've launched like a kids version that's cheaper and because they don't need this level of this amount of this dose. So we can do a lesser version for the kids, even though it's safe for them, but they don't need to spend that much on kids. So now parents are like, good, my stash is my stash. My kids can have their kids version. But yeah, it's quite funny. The kids keep stealing the type. They want more. They get quite addictive to that sour candy taste.
I'm sure my daughter would be in my stash if I let her in it, but I'm keeping it away from her for now.
Keep her away if you need to retain yours.
So I'm really curious. You started down the path with tiger milk mushroom, from my understanding, from your own personal health journey.
Yes.
How did you get from, hey, I'm having these personal issues to let's create a product. And I'm also curious about the hurdles that you may or may not have faced when going
Yeah.
from the Malaysian market to the US market.
Yeah. So we're actually 10 years old. We started PurelyB back in 2015 in Malaysia, and it was very accidental. So when I started the company, I was in digital marketing. I was in corporate. I was head of digital marketing in this the largest broadcast network in Southeast Asia at the time. It was called Astro. And I loved my job. I was not thinking, I'm going to start a business, let alone a wellness business. That was not in my mind. But I wasn't unhealthy, but I wasn't the healthiest person either. I was sort of like in between. I was very normal. But I had a lot of health issues. Nothing chronic. It's not like I'm in and out of hospitals, but I had become immune to the symptoms that I was getting. So I would get migraines every 2 days. So without fail, every week I was constantly having a headache. I would have eczema and rashes breakouts every week. Because I had very poor gut health. I had really bad digestion issues. I was very badly constipated. I know it might be TMI, but I would go once a month. So it was that
There's
bad.
no TMI on this show.
Okay.
We love a good number 4 on the Bristol stool chart in my household.
Love that. So yes, I would go once a month. It was that bad. But I got used to it. It was for years, and I got used to this is how I feel every week, every few days, and this is normal. But it just meant I felt tired all the time, headaches, nausea, because when you have the headaches and you're blocked up, everything. So I thought it's because I was overworked and stressed and not getting enough sleep. I didn't realize that I had developed intolerances and allergies to gluten, dairy, egg, wheat, and shellfish over the years that was leading to these symptoms as my reaction to all these foods. And it was only when I went to a natural health doctor in Singapore that my sister recommended me to, because he helped her son overcome his eczema and identify what was allergic to. And through those tests, it was a test called NAETS, which is like where you hold a glass jar. It's non-invasive allergy test, and found out that egg was the number one thing that I was intolerant and allergic to, and then gluten and whatnot. And I was shocked because all my life I never had those allergies. And suddenly I'm told that I am. And he said, your body has developed these sensitivities because your diet and your lifestyle is pretty toxic. And I'm not eating McDonald's every day. I'm pretty normal, but because my body is more sensitive and a lot of the foods I'm eating are processed foods and I don't realize it, that it has resulted in this. So I had to completely clean up my diet and my lifestyle. So it led me down a path of where I was doing so much research and trying to learn on how to cut out all these foods, because I didn't even know what gluten was 10 years ago. In Asia, nobody was talking about it. And I actually followed Ella Woodard, which is Deliciously Ella. She's pretty big in the US, actually in the UK, and how she was able to overcome a chronic condition, going natural, plant-based, cutting out gluten, dairy, and eating foods that I love, chocolate cake, burgers, pizza. And I was like, how is she doing this? So I learned from her, I learned from others, and I adapted it to my lifestyle in Asia, in Malaysia, because we don't have a lot of the ingredients that they were talking about. So I had to look at alternatives. So it took me a while. After about a month, I was able to incorporate all these learnings to clean up my diet, my lifestyle, go completely natural, and incorporate and go back to my roots, incorporate Malaysian healing herbs into my lifestyle, making these drinks. In Malaysia, you call it ulam, a Malaysian salad, which are basically these herbs. That's what our ancestors would consume as part of their daily meals and routine. And that's how they were able to keep healthy. So I incorporated all of this, and within 1 week, all of my symptoms cleared up. It was crazy. It was crazy because I had done colonoscopy. I had done it all. Nothing worked. And just going natural, going plant-based, cutting out gluten, going back to my roots and consuming these herbal remedies, my headaches went away. My digestion was regular. My eczema cleared up. I had no rash breakouts that week. And my energy was at all-time high. So when that happened, I was shocked that one, it was so fast and that was all I needed to do. But two, that not a single brand or platform in Asia was advocating this. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody was guiding people on lifestyle change. You don't need treatment, surgery, all of that. And I needed to be the one to educate and lead the way if nobody was doing it. Like, it changed my life. I needed to, if it can help one other person, to me, that's worthwhile. That's all I wanted to do. So when I was thinking about creating PurelyB, it was like an educational platform to guide people in a lifestyle way to leading their best health and overcome any health issues. But I'm not a health expert. So I teamed up with natural health doctors, nutritionists, fitness coaches, medical scientists who were all women. So 6 women co-founders creating this company. And because at that time, 10 years ago, we were considered a tech startup because it was digital education. We were creating a digital marketplace to promote other brands that had really great natural products. And so we were able to get like venture funding from Silicon Valley-based 500 startups because we were a tech startup. And we were a very rare 6 women founded tech startup in Asia. So we got a lot of press coverage because of it, and also because we were the first in Asia to do what we were doing. And nobody were like, what are they doing? They're promoting plant-based, they're promoting gluten. So that was how it started, Caitlin. But products was not on my radar. I did not think to do products because I'm like, so many people have great products out there. I want to promote their products. I want to educate more on lifestyle, create recipes, all of that. But it actually, the community were the ones who asked us to create the product. So over 4 years, the challenges we faced was monetization. We didn't know how to make money. We built a strong brand. We built a community. And because we were first movers, so a lot of people knew who we were, but we didn't know how to monetize because we weren't thinking of creating our own product. And marketplace was so hard. It was draining money from us. Nobody talks about how you need to have unlimited funding if you're going to do a marketplace. Otherwise, you might die as a startup. And it was a very hard lesson. Whatever funds that we had raised, we burned through it because of the marketplace. And it's very hard. You have small margins that you can earn from it. And so we knew from every single iteration of trying out a new business model, what the customers wanted. We learned every step of the way. And ultimately, they were like, we want your product. Other people's products we can get elsewhere. Like, we want your product. Like, when are you going to launch? But I didn't just want to launch any product because there's so many in the market. For me, it's like, we have to fulfill a gap. That's why I created PurelyB. There was a gap in the market. Nobody was doing this. We created this. We're going to create a product. It has to be something nobody else is doing and something people need. And that's when I met Professor Bootstrapp. He's a Harvard-trained, he's Columbia, Yale professor who did the research. He's Australian. He's not even Asian. He wrote the books on the healing properties of Malaysian rainforest herbs and how they're most powerful in the world. And I was so lucky. A friend of mine was his student at Oxford, where he was also a professor, and introduced us. He basically schooled me on Malaysian healing herbs and the fascinating research and science behind them, and talked about how there's a huge generational gap. And it was true. My grandparents, I spoke to them, they swore by it. My peers never heard about it. And so when I saw that huge generational gap, I was like, I need to get my hands on this herb. But how am I going to find a proven ancient recipe with it? Because even if I find this herb, I don't want to R&D something from scratch. I want to revive an ancient remedy that's been proven, because that's not being done right now. And so I believe in fate. I believe in destiny and your path. A week after meeting Dr. Bootstrapp and him blowing my mind with all these fascinating facts about these herbs, I met this traditional healer and herbalist. She's like a village midwife in Malaysia, very renowned. Her name is Hamida Hamid Qaida. She came to my house because my sister gets these healing herbal massages and drinks from this healer as general health maintenance. And she said, why don't you speak to her, this healer? She knows all of this. You can ask her about Pagaga. So I said to this healer, I was like, do you know Pagaga? She said, of course. It's so good for the skin, the brain, the gut. And then I said, do you know where I can find a proven, ready-made recipe formula supplement with Pagaga in it? And she just looked at me and she said, I make it. That's what I've been giving to your sisters. That's what I inherited from my grandmother, and I have been treating all of my clients. And I was just like, we need to talk. So I said to her, can I try it? And I said, if this works really well for me, can I meet some of your customers from over the years that you've been healing for decades? I want to hear their stories. And if this works out, would you be open to making this accessible to people around the world? Because right now, the only people who benefit are the ones you go over and you massage them and you blend this drink for them. And she was excited. She was open to it because she's like, if this can help more people, yes, but I need to pray on it. Because she comes from a sacred lineage of healers and herbalists. So the way it works, it stays in their family. It cannot go to you can't pass the recipe to somebody else. But she felt in her gut, in her core, that this was the right thing to do, but she needed approval from God. So she prayed on it. It took a while. It took a few months. And she came to me and she said, I've gotten permission. I've gotten the science, and it is clear to me that you need to get the recipe. So she passed the recipe to me. And when I tried this recipe, honestly, like because I do have gut health issues. So even when I clean up my diet, my lifestyle, whilst that works, if I'm not good at my diet, then I still have some constipation issues. But when I started consuming this, it didn't matter. I was regular, even though I didn't take care of my diet. So that was really interesting to me. And my business partner, she had really bad eczema on her hands, and it cleared up within 3 days. So we knew how effective hers was. It was another level of effectiveness compared to just regular Pagaga. And so when we wanted to take it to market, we had no money. That was the biggest challenge. When I discovered this, Dr. Budge, Kaida, both became my business partners. They said, we want to do this together. I had the science covered, the ancient traditions covered. I had the brand and the community that people knew. We had all the elements, and we were getting this out to market, but we had no money. We were like, how do we bring this to market? I have no money for marketing. I don't have money for production, but we're sitting on a potential gold mine. What do we do? So what I decided to do, I was like, you know what? We had the community. I can't remember how many people we had in our community then. Maybe it was 5,000 people in our database, but we had quite a big social media following. So I decided to do a pre-order. So I first said, okay, we're going to do education first, create all these articles telling the younger modern generation about Pagaga because they completely lost touch with it. Tell them that this is an ancient recipe your grandparents, your great-grandparents swore by, why you need to try this as well for your brain, your skin, your gut health. We create just a handful of articles that Dr. Budge wrote with Kaida, and we put that out on our platform for like a month. And a lot of people reading it and asked us, where can I get this? And then we would tell them, get on the wait list. We're launching something soon. And then the following month, I launched a pre-order. But not a 1 month, not a 2 month, 3 months pre-order. So I said, pay up front now. You get a 40% discount, and you'll get your product in 3 months. You have no idea, Caitlin, how many people and advisors and mentors said this will never work. They said nobody is going to wait 3 months for a product they've never heard of, an ingredient they don't even know, and you've never even done products before. And I was like, I believe in this so much. It has changed my gut health, and I need to do it this way. Otherwise, I will never know. And so I'm going to do it anyway. And when we did it, within 2 weeks, we sold out. We could only produce a certain amount. We could only produce 250 units of 1 month's supply because we were working with marginalized farmers in Thailand who are part of her village. So it was our social impact element of our business, like helping these women farmers. But we sold out 250 units and made 25,000 within 2 weeks. Zero marketing.
I love the pre-order model.
Oh my
I
God.
I love that.
Yes,
3 months is crazy,
it
but
is.
it worked for you. But pre-order, like I think that any brands listening to this right now who are thinking about launching a product, I firmly believe pre-ordering is such a smart way to just understand how much inventory you need as soon
Yes.
as your product is going to be live so that you're not overwhelmed with orders.
Yeah. It's a great validation. If you need validation, do it that way. That before
Keep
you
the
invest.
motivation going.
Correct. It's the only way. Don't let your financial situation stop you. Because it could have stopped me if I listened to my advisors, honestly, but I didn't. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it anyway. Um, and yeah, so
Good for you.
thank you. But after the 2 weeks, I didn't want it to be a fluke because you never know, right? It could be a one-off, it could just be a trend. Will it happen again? So I said, okay, you know what? Let's sell another 250 units, another 3-month pre-order the following month. But this time, let's put 250 US dollars into online ads. So I know it's not much, but I'm like a little bit, let's put a little bit in there. It was about 1,000 ringgit, Malaysian ringgit, to target everyone who read the articles about Pagaga and tell them we have this product. And then we did that and we sold out another 250 units. So total, we sold 500 units within 1 month. And it was again within 2 weeks. So that was another 25,000 ringgit. I think is that 8,000 US dollars within 2 weeks. And this time with $250. So we spent $250 to make about 16,000 US dollars in revenue, in sales. And that was a great validation. But again, it came with other challenges after that with fulfillment and everything. But we overcame that hurdle. Long story short, it took 5 months for them to get their product. It wasn't 3 months. Logistics challenges, farm got flooded, everything. And then, but the fascinating thing, Caitlin, was nobody refunded. We told customers, these are the issues. If you want a refund, give your details. But otherwise, give us another 2 months and you'll get it by, I think it was like March 2019. Some complaints, some people complained and vented, but nobody asked for a refund. They all said they'll wait. And I think that proved to me that we were really doing something different and unique in the market, which is what we wanted to do. We didn't want to just do what everyone else is doing. They're doing a great job. We don't need to touch that. Right. And after that, the response is great. 30% of people repeat ordered after a week. And that's when we scaled everything up. Yeah. So a lot of challenges, but that's pretty much the journey of how we got here.
Unreal. It really, truly does sound like the stars aligned for you. You just had this aha moment and everything was like, okay, here's your path, move forward. So cool.
Yeah.
So going from having no money to $250 spent on meta advertising, where does the business stand today?
So that was, so now it's been about 6 years of doing the products and we have international customer base. So we do spend more than $250 now on marketing. Digital, actually 90% of our revenue is from D2C. So we spend quite a bit on digital marketing, but we make sure we have a ROAS, return on advertising spend, of at least 5 times for whatever we do, because for us, that's the only way that we can be sustainable and we're profitable today, thankfully. Currently, we generate about 2.5 million US dollars in annual revenue from mostly these 2 products. And then this is the 3rd product. So we only have 2 product SKUs.
Amazing.
Thank
so
you.
Impressive.
And we still have a long way to go, obviously, but I think for us, we really didn't have much funding at all. Even throughout that journey, we got a little bit of funds along the way, but it was very minimal, like 100,000 US dollars sort of thing. So it was really trying to grow it as organically as possible to where we are today. And then now we're ready to like ramp up, get proper investment funding to scale this up because we have customers in the US, we have customers in the UK, Australia, but we don't have the funds to properly expand and market in those countries. So till today, Malaysia has been the only country that we've been doing marketing and advertising. But Malaysia only makes up 50% of our revenue. 30% is Singapore. 20% is all over the world, and which includes the US, which is the biggest market of all the other countries. But all our marketing is still only in Malaysia because that's when we know we can generate 5x ROAS. So until I get more funding, I'm not going to burn any of my cash into advertising the other markets where I know there's going to be a lot of brand building and all of that. So you're not going to see as big a return, but I don't want to affect our profitability. So right now it's sort of, okay, we really want to scale and grow in those other markets, but let me raise a bit more funds before that we can allocate for market expansion so we can make sure that we can remain profitable and double up our revenue every year and continue to do that as we grow into other markets.
So it sounds like your market right now is not very focused on the US. So I hope there are some US based retailers that are listening to this conversation right now. It sounds like if they were to introduce your products onto their shelf, they would really be introducing something very new that their neighboring retailers don't have right now, and especially not these ingredients too.
Yes, absolutely. So I think the customers that we have met here in the US, because this year we're really trying to build up our D2C, and it's been really great. I wouldn't be spending time here if the response wasn't good in the past year. And it's because it's something unique. I get the same reactions that you guys did, Caitlin, you and the team. And they're like, I need to get this, I need to buy this. So when I do little pop-ups, it sells really well. They immediately get on subscription. And even though I'm not in the country, last year I was only in the country for like 3 weeks. But this year I'm going to be here like for long periods of time to probably expand. But even though I was only there for 3 weeks last year, every month we were generating sales just on its own because of people who discovered it and they just wanted it every month and it's something so unique. So I do feel that there is definitely an untapped opportunity in the US. It's something that other people are not offering. It covers a unique space. But we need to obviously work with the right partners to make sure that it can get the visibility and the accessibility to the people that need it.
You heard it here first. I have loved talking to you about PurelyB. I am
Me
very
too,
excited for
Caitlin.
your brand. I am going to be even more excited when I see it on shelves in the US because I'll be able to say,
Yeah.
there it
Yay!
is.
Yes, you're there right from the start, Caitlin.
I love it. I love it. There is just something so special about your product.
Thank
And
you.
I really do think that you're onto something great. I mean, the numbers are proving that for you, but I am hanging on to your words here when you're saying that you're doing something different. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're not doing something that other people have done. You're doing something different. And because you're doing that, you're paving your path to success in the industry. So I'm
Thank you,
super excited for
Caitlin.
you. Before we go, I would love for you to tell our audience where they can find you online, how they can get in touch with you. Let's make this easy for them.
Yes. Okay. So you can find me online at JESSARSHAD, Just Arshad. I like to share a lot about, my personal journey in building PurelyB. And you can actually find PurelyB online at PurelyB, PURELYB. On Instagram, on TikTok. We have a US account as well, which is PurelyB.us. But that's still growing. We just started that because all our US customers have been following us on our global Asia account, and we're starting to try and funnel them to the US one that can be more focused on this market. And you can go to purelyb.com to buy our products. You can find us on Amazon as well. And obviously, if you're in Asia, you can see us in retail, but hopefully you'll see us in retail in the States soon too. I'm actually talking to a few partners already.
Ooh, very exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, get to the PurelyB website, check them out. I think you're going to be very impressed by what you see. These ingredients are amazing and the product tastes great. Jess, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. I will see you soon.
Thanks, Caitlin. Yeah, look forward to seeing you soon. Utopia now.
Yes.
Yes.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, do us a solid and leave us a 5-star review on ratethispodcast.com/startupcpg. I'm Caitlin Bricker, the host of the Founder Feature Series and editor at Startup CPG. Feel free to find me on LinkedIn or reach out to me on Slack and get on my radar. I'm always keeping my eyes peeled for new and emerging brands to spotlight. If you're a potential sponsor who would like to appear on the podcast, please email partnerships@startupcpg.com. And finally, as a reminder for anyone listening, if you haven't already, we would love for you to join our free CPG community on Slack. You can sign up via our website at startupcpg.com. See you around.